And good morning, everyone. Welcome to Exiles TV on this Tuesday morning. Glad to have you along with us this morning. I'm Bill Profita. Kevin Gallagher out for a couple of days of R&R. Joining me, famed broadcaster Karen Profita. Hey, how are you?
Yeah, the real wife, not the work husband.
Yes, the real wife, not the work wife, the real wife. I'm glad you could do this.
Yeah, no, my pleasure. And yeah, it's big shoes to fill for Kevin, right? But
Big
I'm
shoes.
glad he has escaped and hopefully is having a very pleasant couple of days.
Well, at least you have the female voice version of Kevin's voice.
Oh.
You've got that round,
That's a good
mellow.
compliment.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
You've got the female version of his voice. I think a lot of our viewers know you from your Saturday Style program, which was on Talk 107.3 for 8 years?
7.
7 years.
Lucky 7. Yeah, I got the 7-year itch, ended the show. But no, that was always so much fun. It was such a great way to really keep in contact with the community and know what was going on. And so, yeah, I kind of miss it. So I was excited to jump at this chance and maybe get a chance to get that little rush again from doing it.
Well, now, you got a couple projects going right now, though.
Yeah, a couple too many maybe, but yeah,
So,
I do.
you want to talk about any of them? You want to share any of them?
Well, yeah, there's a couple things. One of them that I'm really excited about is, this is a tough time for tourism in the state. Obviously, we've got people not traveling as much, but we also think that there's going to be this shift to more car vacations.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was something Kevin and I were talking about yesterday. So it's knowing where to go, right? And so the big thing is, I know I've been driving down the interstate before and I see that exit sign and it's a name that's kind of tempting, Pumpkin Center, for instance.
Pumpkin
and you
Center.
go, is it worth my time to get off at this exit and go explore? Is this worth going to see? So I am working with Tia Embaugh, and we're working on a podcast, and it's going to be just a fun look at what to do at these places. She's a mom, so she's also got that perspective. She's also a trained architect, so she can talk about what you will see there. We're both foodies, be able to get into that. So it's going to be, here's where you can stay if you want to be there a while. If you only have an hour, yeah, it is worth going, or not so much. And here's what you can do in that time. And, try and find some of the stories you don't find. But again, focusing on small towns, you can find things on Baton Rouge and New Orleans, but you can't always get good, accurate information on places like St. Francisville or Covington or Pumpkin Center.
Mandeville, Madisonville.
Yeah, exactly.
So when do you think this is going to roll out?
We're hoping by the end of the year to start posting our podcast. So we're getting ready to record our first one right now. And we'll be your know-to-go guides, because you can't go if you don't know to go.
Well, it sounds like fun.
Uh-huh.
It sounds like you all have a very ambitious undertaking here. And then you've got something that's a little more mouth-watering going on, too.
I think we're going to talk seafood, but that's...
No, we'll get to
that's
that in a
too.
minute.
Yeah. No, well, we have for a long time thrown a party for about 200 of our closest friends. It'll be really interesting this year whether or not that can happen. But the only way, and we do all the cooking for it, the only way we're able to do that is we've kind of perfected being able to make things ahead and freeze them. And so we always talked about it, and it's nice to have a party in your freezer, whether it's somebody just dropping by, it's you and your family, and you want to do something, you've got things that you can take out. So we have got our Facebook page now. We're going to be working on getting a website set up and some other things, and be posting recipes for things that you can do at home and put up in your freezer and have them ready to go, and look for things that are interesting but still easy enough to do.
And if you like it enough, we'll probably do a regular book that you can keep on your shelf, and we'll also actually kind of take requests and do a how-to. We might do a video element on making some of these things.
Again, I think the key is, so often you see these recipes and it's like, I don't understand this piece, or this looks hard to do. We really want to make it easy.
Well, you see the finished product.
Yeah.
I've had this happen, and people say, "Oh, I could never do that." I said, "It's 3 things. It looks pretty. It's 3 things."
Yeah, sometimes, and those are often the best, right? You get that real flavor from something when it's a little simpler sometimes. So And we've got some great chefs who are friends and who are helping guide us too. So
They're
we're
going to
giving
kind
you the best.
of kind of
information.
proctor us as we go through this a little bit.
Right.
But anyway, we have got lots going on in the world and in our community. We're going to try to catch you up on little bits and pieces of that and have a little fun this morning. Joining us in this first hour, we will have Lieutenant Bryan Taylor. He is with B.R.P.D. He's the Assistant Commander of Uniform Patrol. If you looked at the news this morning, if you read the paper, you heard about the high-speed chase that started in Ascension Parish and ended up on Sherwood Forest Boulevard. So I'm sure that B.R.P.D. Uniform Patrol got involved in that, but they're responsible for about 90% of police activity in this city, and we will talk with Bryan Taylor about that. And then in our next hour, the relatively new Executive Director of Crime Stoppers, former Deputy Chief of B.R.P.D. Jonny Dunnam, will be joining us. Crime Stoppers reaches into all of our viewing areas, into Lafayette, into the river parishes, into the Florida parishes. We're going to be talking Crime Stoppers with him. So we've got a lot to go. If you will stay with Karen and I, we'll be back in a moment on Exiles TV.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Look up to the skies, I see desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart. 'Cause misery loves company. 'Cause misery loves company. Cold and hungry like a dog in the street. I get a raw deal every one.
Welcome back to Exiles TV, and yeah, we goofed. We set the monitor too high there. Glad to have you with us on this Tuesday morning. And Karen Profita in for Kevin Gallagher. Marty shaking his head at the sound of that monitor.
It's always something.
And it was my fault. During the commercials, I said, gee, we can't hear the monitor much. And Marty said, well, I'll turn it up. And he said, of course, they'll turn it up in the back, and then we'll get feedback like we just had.
Can't leave good enough. This is what happens in the car, even with the air conditioner.
Yeah, it's-
It's like close the vent, then you're like, oh, let me turn this up. We go back and forth. So-
Again, you get to look behind the curtain with us more. It's still a little hot, guys. I'm still hearing ring off in here. So if you can pull it down just a little bit more, please, so we're not getting that kind of phased feedback. There we go. This is live television. This is what happens
It's the fun of
with
it. Yeah.
live TV.
Yeah. They can see you, unlike radio, where
Hey,
you
look.
could just,
On the monitor, you used to be Kevin Gallagher. Now you're Karen Profita again on the monitor.
oh, good.
Oh, good. So, a lot of us have not been doing a lot of the type of shopping that we've gotten used to doing. We've been doing grocery shopping, things
Right.
like that. necessities. Now, lately, people are getting more into just because shopping or looking to the future. Have you noticed that there is Christmas stuff up in the stores?
I know, it's really disturbing. It always disturbed me how early, but it seems really early. But, the thing we've talked about is it also seems they were so low on a lot of regular inventory. I'm just wondering, it was like, well, gosh, at least things are shipping again, because so many of them, I mean, they even miss their buying seasons. I used to have a lot of retailers on my show, and I know they would go to the market, and it was always this constant flow, and you're always buying way ahead. And I'm thinking, wow, what's even going to come in? So, you see lots of empty spaces you didn't, and I think they're so eager to fill them. It was like sweaters, which, I mean, the weather seems to be working that direction
Yeah, I mean,
for us.
it's nice,
so.
cool weather. But, I mean, in some of the bigger stores, I would imagine you've got Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas all within like one of these.
Yeah.
So our friends at Channel 2 were talking about people rushing the season. I think this started with John Pasterek and Brandy Harris on Tune In. But they were talking about people putting out pumpkins, which is kind of traditional for fall and Halloween,
Right.
at the very beginning of September. And they got into a little debate on it. And some of the on-air people were like, I don't want to see a pumpkin yet. I don't want to see it. Some have said, well, I've already decorated for Halloween. So they took it to their viewers and they did a poll. And here's what the viewers of Channel 2 WBRZ said. 59% felt it was perfectly acceptable to decorate with pumpkins in September. 22% said it's only all right to go all out with pumpkins when the weather's cold. And 13% said no pumpkins in September.
I mean, as long as you're not cutting the eyes and mouth and putting a candle in it, you're not doing a jack-o'-lantern kind of thing. I don't, it's a typical fall decor piece. I mean, I've been in all the nurseries, and I mean, the mums are out. Everybody's a huge supply of mums. But the biggest thing is we're all kind of nesting, right? By
Yeah.
necessity. And so I think people are eager to decorate their homes. I mean, I guess you could do football decor, but what else do you do this
Well, I
time
was
of
going
year?
to say that seems to be what's missing.
Yeah. Well, we didn't know for sure if we were even going to have seasons, right?
Yeah.
Were they going to play or not? But yeah.
But, I mean, all over Lafayette, you see ULL red flying from houses.
Mm-hmm.
All over Baton Rouge, you see purple and gold.
And you see things for the Jags, and you see things for the Saints. I mean, it's like this is football season, but
But, I mean, I don't think I've passed by one house that's got a Jaguar or LSU or Saints flag out front in Baton Rouge.
yeah.
Is it because they delayed the season that people didn't
Yeah,
put
I
the
mean,
stuff
we're
up?
just, it's just getting, you know what, judge it again next week, right? After we've done this first game. And
Yeah,
then we'll see if people are going to get back to that. And now that the Saints are playing, I mean,
Judge it again next
we
week
might
for,
not.
for
well,
LSU. Now,
they'll
the
have
Jags aren't going to
quarterbacks.
play at all. The
Yeah.
SWAC has canceled their season, which is a shame.
That's just hard.
LSU, I think, is going to pop out this Saturday and continue. The Saints may be going to the bags. You might have a poll out with a bag over it.
Look how safe that is. It's kind of like a mask.
It's like, oh my God. They penalized themselves into a loss last night, I mean, against the Raiders.
You have to wonder how different it feels to play in a stadium where you don't have a crowd. I mean, because these guys, they feed off of that.
Sure they do.
I mean, getting that feedback is so critical. So I can only imagine what that must be like. I mean, it seemed like it took baseball and basketball a while, although they've been smart. I mean, the Emmys borrowed some of the techniques they've used, whether it's putting cutouts in the stands or I'm seeing a lot of shows now doing big screens, which I think you should do that so we can see the audience, have them be able to,
I've seen the audience. Kidding.
Anyway, no, and then, pumping in the sound and I would love to be the guy, though, that's the one deciding which crowd reaction to do. You know, it's like your personal.
I was
feelings might go
admiring
in.
that.
Yep.
You've got to have a really, really good ear and be a really good sound mixer. Like all the guys doing our stuff, they've all been in bands, been
Right.
doing sound for bands, done recording sessions, so they've got good ears in our truck. But I mean, big stadium like that, and I would imagine whoever's at the mixing console has probably got 45, 50 different types of sound that they can use.
Wouldn't that be? I would love to see how they're labeled. Dumb thing by our guy. Really good thing, but it's by the other team.
Well,
I mean, different crowd response.
I think they've probably got, good short play home, good short play opposition, good long play home, touchdown, crowd goes wild. I think it's probably labeled that way.
Yeah, I would love to do ice skating.
Oh,
Skater
God.
Falls. Oh.
But, I imagine that they probably took all the sound from last year's games and pulled, maybe
Yes.
even against the same opponents,
Yep.
so they had the right kind of ambience. But that is some serious sound work they're doing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's again, but this is what's interesting to me is how all these things are changing and how much of this is going to continue in the future. I mean, it's got to be expensive for a lot of these shows to have huge audiences. Will they say, maybe we like this? Maybe some of these where they're using a screen and they can see their audience. In fact, I was watching one. She said, I can really see the audience better than when they're here because they're using massive screens like this and people from around the country. I mean, again, how nice it would be if people across South Louisiana who watch this show, you could actually see them, be able to pull them up and have more of an interaction, in other words, more of a conversation.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what else amazes me is all the live music that they do where none of the musicians are in the same room. And it is tight, it's good, they never make a mistake.
No, and that they've done entire orchestras.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
that is amazing. We're going to take a brief break. We'll be back with more on Exiles TV in just a moment. Stick around.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us this morning as we continue looking at what's going on in our world. We got lucky with beta.
It's not over yet. I mean, there's 11 million people worried about flooding right now, including us. So.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the Calcasieu-Cameron area is getting a lot of rain that they don't need right now as they try to rebuild. So we'll try to look at that at the top of the hour and see the latest on that for you. Joining us now is someone we used to have on our radio program, good friend of all of us here in Baton Rouge, Lieutenant. He used to be Sergeant. Now he's Lieutenant Bryan Taylor.
You remember?
I do remember. Although I cheated, I had to get Coppola to verify about an hour ago.
That's okay.
To make sure. But he is the Assistant Commander of the Uniform Patrol Division, and that's probably the biggest division in B.R.P.D.
Yes, sir.
And pretty much everything that happens that we can see readily falls under Uniform Patrol.
Absolutely. They're the front line. They're the boots on the ground. They're the first one to every call for service for anything that happens in Baton Rouge.
Mm-hmm. I would imagine they're also the first ones when somebody doesn't feel like they should have been stopped and they want to make an issue of it, or somebody feels that the officer was not quite as polite, that goes to Uniform Patrol as well, that those complaints come to you first.
Yes, sir. We do receive those complaints time to time. They're very rare, though, to be honest with you. Maybe one a week at most, and most of the time it's a misunderstanding. You know, it's something they just want to be heard, and you explain to them what the procedures are, and it stops there.
So what percentage of the police force is in uniform patrol?
Right now, I would say a little over 50%. We were at about 323. There's been some shuffling around with organization, and we now have 2 extra divisions, so we're probably at 360, 370.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think for so many of us, we don't understand all those divisions, right? We know there's detectives, we know there's the guys on the street, and don't really understand how all that works.
But obviously, uniform patrol, it is what it is. It's uniform. You see the guys in uniforms. They have 2 different uniforms. They're either in their Class A, which is the gray with all the shiny stuff. It's hard to keep up with that. I was OCD when I was on the street, so it was every night shining boots, shining brass, so that you look professional. Now they have the dark blue, I guess, utility uniforms that are a little more user-friendly. They're cooler. They're more functional. So
one of the things I'm curious about is, again, I guess theories on policing, because I know that over the years has evolved. You know, there was a time where it's like, just keep driving through the neighborhoods and letting them see you. Then it was more in person, and then it was more response. What is the current thinking on the best way to be out there in the community?
Well, community policing is always, you know, the core. It's being in the neighborhood, being in your areas of responsibility, learning the people. What has evolved lately is the technology behind it. And that is, y'all have seen stuff about our real-time crime center. Right. So that's still evolving, getting manpower for that. It's where we can go into a neighborhood or an area that has a problem with certain crimes, whether it's violent crime or property crimes. And we're using our analysts, we're using intelligence, we're putting all of that information together. So when we go into a neighborhood, used to be back in the day, we're having trouble in this area, you go in there and it was zero tolerance, is the term you've probably heard before. Right. Well, what we learned from that is that you encounter so many good people to and from work, and any small little violation, they were stopping them and they were either writing them a citation, or you were just disrupting their day. Someone's had a long day at work and they're just trying to get home. So it's more about targeting certain individuals, certain vehicles, certain addresses within that area, and concentrating on them so that the law-abiding citizen can go along their way.
And I should say, based on intelligence, information that you're getting,
That is
so
correct.
that you can be a lot more specific with your focus.
That is correct. I taught active shooter classes in the past, and I said, we're there, we're willing, we're going to come help and do everything we can. The one thing that we're missing in our arsenal is a crystal ball. Because if we knew it before it happened, they wouldn't be able to get there to do any harm, because there'd be 30 police cars there waiting on you. So this is our way to the crystal ball. It's taking this intelligence, it's taking the data that our analysts are getting and saying, in these areas on this day at this time is the greatest possibility of certain crimes occurring, so that we concentrate and we're there prior to it happening, and possibly our presence can deter it.
Let's talk a little bit about what we see all too often, and we see one or two, sometimes more, marked cars, everything lit up, screaming, and sometimes it's more than one agency. And we know that you all are in a very dangerous situation. You are chasing somebody down, and the car has always been almost as deadly to police officers as the gun when you're trying to stop somebody from harming other people. We had one last night, started in Ascension Parish, ended up out here on Sherwood Forest Boulevard. How often does this happen?
I couldn't put a number on it. I do know we don't control that, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, when something happens, we're reacting, we respond to it. And depending on the nature of the incident, will determine how far we take it, whether we stop the pursuit, whether we continue to the end, depending on the severity of the crime. I think it's sporadic, but a lot of times you see 2 or 3 cars, they might be going to a traffic crash somewhere where there's something going on. Here about 17 or 18, we got into a little bit of the medical side where all of our officers have tourniquets, and our response to a shooting, a stabbing, things of that nature, even a traffic accident, countless lives that our police officers, not EMTs, have saved by going and applying tourniquets and things of that nature. So we're not just doing the police aspect of it, there's also the emergency medicine side to it.
And I should have mentioned that when you see screaming vehicles, sometimes they're going to an accident, because generally speaking, you all are going to get there before fire and EMS, because they're in stations, you're mobile.
That's correct, and our vehicles are a little bit smaller and a little bit faster, and we can maneuver the city a little bit better. If it happens to be a shooting or something of that nature, obviously we have to get there and render the scene safe so that they can come in and do their advanced medical.
So I'm curious, having reached the rank that you're at, you have had to have developed some people skills and things that could serve you anywhere, and that any of us could probably use in our professional lives and personal lives.
I don't know if it's as much the 25 years that I've been here, it's just that I'm getting older. I probably used to be part of the problem when I was younger, because it was just go, go, go. Now I use my head a little bit better. I don't run as fast, I'm not as strong, things of that nature. But
yeah, but I would think, just diffusing a situation, because again, we have that, especially COVID, people on lockdown, tensions run a little bit higher. What's that good way to respond to somebody who's in that tense moment to help bring down, de-escalate?
don't take it personal when they lash out at you. A lot of times people just want someone to listen to them. So if you can take the time to listen and make them truly believe that you're listening, that you understand, and try to give them a solution other than enforcement. We're more than just enforcement.
Right.
Well, you know, we talk about the sociology of policing in America. It's not just Baton Rouge. And the events of the last 6 or 7 months have, in a lot of people's minds, made the police, particularly those that they can identify because they're in uniforms and they're in marked cars, has made them their enemy. They can't always articulate why. But, you know, it's kind of hard when you have a community policing initiative, like we do and most large cities do, and the dynamic has changed so much to where a lot of these people think simply because you wear a badge, you're their enemy.
There is that. I don't believe it's any more than it's been before. There are groups that are more vocal now, but that is such a small percentage of any community, to include ours.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
I think growing up in the profession, that we always had support. I believe we have greater support now than we've ever had, but also the naysayers. They're so polar opposites now. It used to be kind of in the middle, but it's just like politics. Everything is you're either far right or far left, and it's the same thing when it comes to this.
It makes it very, very difficult.
It can be challenging, but you just have to go to work. We have to back our guys. We have to listen to their concerns because they're humans as well. And you have to understand that they're just ordinary people doing an extraordinary job. And so you have to, really stay on top of their mental well-being and things of that nature.
How much of the morale of the men and women you're putting out on the street every day is up to you and the commander? I mean, do you all put your heads together and say, I notice Karen is looking a little tense, a little down. Let's pay a little special attention. Let's try to get them boosted up. I mean, how much of that is in your job portfolio?
A whole lot, and it's a trickle-down effect. So beneath us, we have 5 districts across the city, the traffic division, our canine division, that fall under the uniform patrol umbrella. So they're command-specific areas. So if we start cheerleading from the top, and we let that trickle down to them, and like I said, you just support them. We all make mistakes. Okay, let's shake it off, and let's see what we can do to fix this. And I tell them all the time, I'll go out and I'll ride the streets with them, and my title follows me, which I'm very uncomfortable with because I'm not that person. I don't even like the rank. I tell people all the time, it just means I've been here a long time. Civil service, right? It just means I'm older. So going out there and understanding them and not losing touch with how they feel and what they think, and just cheer them on.
Right. So, unemployment's up. People are locked into small spaces together more. How has that changed what you're seeing on the street?
It's kind of hard to tell. That's kind of a tough one.
I mean, domestic violence, are we seeing increased issues with children?
Not necessarily with children. Obviously, I wouldn't want to call it the culture, but the norm was usually we would see certain crimes go up, property crimes go up during the summer when children were out of school. Back when I was in K-9, one of our responsibilities was trying to locate stolen cars. We knew during the summer months people would, steal cars and go for joy rides and things of that nature. So that would increase. I'll be glad when we get to phase 4, to be honest with you, because you have these gatherings, these impromptu gatherings at certain locations with a whole lot of people. I'm ready for all the bars to open back up. Maybe they'll spread out a little bit and it won't be as much.
Spread out the joy a little bit.
Exactly.
We are talking with Lieutenant Bryan Taylor, B.R.P.D. He is the Deputy Commander of Uniform Patrol. And we're going to continue our conversation on Exiles TV in just a minute. We'll be right back.
That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They will not give up until we pay.
We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Our discussion with Lieutenant Bryan Taylor, a Uniform Patrol Division Deputy Commander for B.R.P.D. On Exiles TV, Karen is in for Kevin today. He's taking a couple of days off. Bryan, you talked about all the people that are under Uniform Patrol. So you got traffic, I guess.
Yes, sir.
You got K9. You do street crimes, even though they don't run in uniforms.
We work hand in hand with street crimes, but they're actually assigned to our criminal bureau.
Criminal bureau, and then I'm leaving somebody out. I think probably.
There's so many. The only other thing that we have underneath Uniform Patrol would be our misdemeanor investigation. So any misdemeanor crimes that have to be followed up on, they handle that.
So, a few years back, gangs were what we were all worried about and so focused on. Is that still as big of an issue, or has it just kind of changed a little bit?
It's terminology, it's gangs, it's groups. We do see a few that they have been identified. We have a good working relationship with all of our partners, whether it be the Sheriff's Office, State Police. Lately, we've had a lot more support from the federal agencies, so they work hand in hand and pass information back and forth, and have groups that are problems, and they're identified, and we just keep track of them.
It seems to me that the hill is very, very high when things aren't going well. When it's a hot summer night and it hadn't rained in 4 or 5 days, and we're coming around to Friday and Saturday, and those calls come in like one after another. And you got to do the routine stuff. You see somebody that looks like they're impaired, you got to stop them. And you got to give them a field sobriety test, or maybe wait for the van. So how do you structure it to keep things moving along when it's a very, very high volume environment, because uniform patrol is who they're going to dispatch.
That is correct. Well, everything has to be prioritized. When calls come in, they go through our dispatch center, and they're prioritized. And there are many nights where our officers go from one call to the next call. I mean, no matter what's going on, whether it's been COVID, whether it's any type of civil unrest, whether it's the rain, hurricanes, they're out there, and they're busting their butts, doing the best they can for the entire time they're there. When it comes to impairment, we have a DWI section that actually works under the traffic division. So we have force multipliers that are out on the street, on any given night.
What happens if your force gets depleted? What happens if, I think it's 1st District, where they've been having the trouble with the large gatherings?
Yes, sir.
And C. Denise Marcel, who's running for mayor, was in here saying it's in her state representative district, and she said the police are doing a great job of being very, very nice to people, saying, look, you're blocking this man's business, you got to go. But if that takes 10, 12 officers out of 1st District for 3 or 4 hours while they're working that, do you have to fill in from other areas?
Well, here's where the intel comes in, and all of the technology is between social media. Nothing is a secret anymore, right?
That's
in the
true.
world today,
That's
nothing
true.
is a secret. So we know that things are coming up. Obviously, there are things they catch us off guard, but we're good at adapting. We've always been good at adapting. We plan for the worst, and anything less than that is easy, right? So with that being said, knowing that events are coming up, we have manpower, and we have a collaboration with the sheriff's office, whether it be somewhere out here in 3rd District where we've had issues, where we dedicate manpower to that. Because it's not just up in North Baton Rouge anymore. It's downtown. It's out off of
So you
Corsi.
basically have a depth chart.
Pretty much.
That you can pull
Pretty
off
much.
the bench.
And I said they've
move
done
in.
a good job. I know that they could go to a gathering with 400 or 500 people. We get 0 complaints on our officers. They make several arrests. It's all in how you treat some of these people. Most of them will move on about their business. There is that small element that we have to take enforcement action on.
No, it's got to be an interesting time, and I just think of that variety of what an officer typically will see on a night.
I have stories. We look back, it's inevitable when you get together with a couple of guys off duty, and you start telling old war stories and things of that nature. That's what bonds us together, because forever I had a guy when I came out of the academy that we worked together every Friday night. We just connected. We've been great friends ever since. We've kind of followed each other around through our careers, and I would laugh and say most of my stories from early on always started with me and Joel. Joel and I did this, Joel and I did that, and it bonds you together.
Sure. And is there a particular shift that is the one that you're like, oh, not that shift, or the one that everybody's like, yeah, that's a good one to be on?
Not really. It's busy 24 hours a day. For my first 13 years, I was a dog shift guy. I worked night shift the whole time I was in uniform. When I worked K9, we worked night shift. I never was a day shift guy till a couple years ago. That alarm goes off at 4:15 every morning, and it's early.
I got to ask this because I think it will be enlightening for everybody. For years and years and years, we always heard that the scariest call for a uniformed police officer is a call of a domestic argument going on, a fight. What really scares patrol officers now? Is it still that domestic, or is there something else that everybody, when they get in that car, man, woman, experienced or new, has that rattling around in their head? It makes their spidey sense go up.
Obviously, domestics, there's an inherent danger and always has been. I would think now the biggest call is somebody with a rifle. We've experienced entirely too much since 2016, and you go somewhere with someone with a high-powered rifle, because that's, they can reach you from a long ways away, and they can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, they can see you coming up. You
Yes,
can't
sir.
see them.
I would believe if anything, you're going to get everybody going to that. That's when you're seeing 2 and 3 and 4 cars, multi-jurisdictions going to something of that nature, because we've got to have, it's backup. It's like, I've got to go help my brother. I've got to go help my sister to make sure he's or she is okay.
Do you switch? I know you're military.
No, sir.
No, I thought you were a
No,
Marine.
sir. No, sir.
Well, you might have been. You could have been. But do you switch tactics with the fact that the weaponry that's out there now is so long range? I know we're trying to get everybody an Angel armor vest that'll stop a rifle round, but eventually there's going to be something that will go through that, and they're getting their hands on it.
We know the profession is dangerous. I don't think of that when I go there. I'm cautious, but we've actually provided our officers with some equipment. Everybody in uniform patrol has a plate carrier which stops rifle rounds. It's not something, it's kind of heavy, it's cumbersome. It's not something you would wear your entire shift, but it stays on my front seat or it's in my trunk. So if I know that I'm going to something that may involve this, I can reach and grab it and throw it on in 10 seconds. Can it stop everything? No, but if it increases the chances of me making it through in case something bad happens. We used to laugh all the time because the police would, something happens here, they all go there, they run into it. Now they're a little more cautious before they just pull up in a driveway or something. You stop further back, you assess the situation. You may even get out on foot and sneak around, like, let me sneak up to you. I'm in this car that could be a target if I pulled right up in front of somebody. So tactics have changed a little bit, but it's managing that adrenaline and slowing down and using common sense, because common sense will prevail.
Gun control gets so much discussion, and you guys are the ones at the most risk from, I think, what people really worry about. What is the general feeling among officers on, because the horse is out of the barn, right? There's so many weapons out there, and again, most of them lawfully owned and used for hunting and so forth, but a lot of talk about the automatic weapons and all. Are there any restrictions that you guys wish were out there to kind of help your world be a little safer?
I've never been afraid of the law-abiding citizen with a weapon. We're getting into politics a little bit here, but that's my personal belief. I've taught concealed carry classes. I'm an advocate for that. Laws change, but let's enforce the ones we have now that are on the books. And if somebody's going to break this law, they're going to break that one. So I'm more worried about the criminal element with the weaponry that's available, not the law-abiding citizens.
When you're mentioning concealed carry, who should get concealed carry? Because that has, a lot of people are talking about going and doing that, and sometimes I'm like, okay, who are the people who really should be thinking that through?
It's going to be a personal choice. It's someone that is going to take the time to, if they buy a weapon, to learn how to use that weapon, to be able to secure that weapon so no one can take it from them, to be able to teach their kids about that weapon. It's a great responsibility. I spend most of my awake time with a sidearm on me, but that's my profession. If you're going to do it, you can't do it halfway.
Right. Well, let's talk a little so people understand what they need to go through to get a concealed carry.
I'll tell you what, let's take our break.
Okay.
And then we will come back. We've got Lieutenant Bryan Taylor, B.R.P.D, with us. Stick around back after this brief break.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
All right, so right before we went to the break, we were talking about concealed carry weapons. And for someone who's interested in going through the concealed carry training or being able to do concealed carry, talk a little about what that process looks like. And again, even in the break, we were talking about what you can do with it. You don't necessarily have to even go all the way to where you're carrying it, but there's some benefits from it.
That's correct. If you just want to learn something about firearm safety, maybe you have a weapon in the house with no intentions to carry it anywhere else, it's how to function the weapon, how to safely store it, how to clean it, how to load it. The classes, I think it's 8-10 hours, I believe, it's a class. B.R.P.D. was doing them at one time. So much has gone on. I think they have suspended that, but there are a lot of private gun ranges that do concealed carry classes. It's to learn about the weapon, learn the laws, because we go through all of the laws. When can you use a weapon? When can you not use a weapon? It just educating yourself. And then you can go to the class, you can take the class, you can get your certificate, and then with all the information that's provided to you, maybe at that time you decide whether I want to take it the next step and go actually get your concealed carry permit.
And there's viewers, of course, that aren't in the Baton Rouge area. Do most police forces offer something like this?
I know we offer them. I know East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office offers them. If you're somewhere around the state, you could probably contact your police department or sheriff's office. If they don't do it, they could point you in the right direction.
Greg Ferry's up in East Feliciana does. I'm pretty sure that most of the people, this show goes all the way from west of Lafayette to the Mississippi border, so most of these people have some sort of a class or will tell you who is certified in their area to teach your class.
And you can even contact Louisiana State Police. They have a section just for concealed carry, and they have lists that you can get. It may even be online of instructors in certain areas of the state.
That's good.
I've always believed that the worst thing that can happen is that you have to use a weapon.
Absolutely.
Your life changes forever the minute that hammer drops. But at the same time, there are sometimes you have to make a distinction as to whether it's going to be you that's on the ground or the other person. But it's harder when you're a police officer. Karen was saying this the other day. We expect police officers to make a split-second decision, and then we've got all the time in the world to pick through it and tell them where they were wrong. Have you ever had to fire your weapon?
One time at a dog.
At a dog.
That's it. It didn't make the news or anything like that. But no, I've been fortunate. I've done street crimes in my career. I did SWAT for 18 and a half years. 750 to 1,000 high-risk search warrants and things of that nature, and I'm lucky. I've never been involved in anything like that.
And for the guys who do, or the ladies who have to use their weapon, does that, because again, I think a lot of people imagine, oh, I shot at somebody today, but how does that weigh on them? What kind of support do y'all give them? I would think that stays with you.
It does stay with you. Some handle it better than others. I think it's mental preparation is a big thing that I teach, is understanding if you have to do this, this is what you can expect as you go on. Some people recover from it, some people don't. It weighs on them so much. We have a peer support team, we have chaplains. They can talk to officers that have been involved in the same type of situation they've been in and explain what they went through, and things that maybe they did wrong, that, hey, this really didn't help me.
Does it help street officers like your men and women like you that we now have better intelligence and we now have more non-lethal weapons at our disposal? I know that B.R.P.D's got taser.
That's correct.
Do you also have the beanbag guns?
We do. Those are very rarely deployed. Taser is one that I think we probably use the most, probably more than we would use like the OC pepper spray in that nature. It's, like I said, they consider it less than lethal. There's a lot of science behind it. It works, but nothing's 100%. But it keeps somebody like me from dealing with somebody twice my size that I'm not going to stand toe-to-toe with. And at the end of the day, it prevents injury to the officer and to the suspect.
So a lot of people are reassessing what they want to do with their lives. If someone's interested in law enforcement, what does a good recruit look like, and maybe what kind of opportunities beyond just being out on the front lines?
I don't know what a recruit looks like. It's someone, I can only speak for myself. I'm a second generation. I guess it's the family business. My brother's an investigator for the DA's office, so that's the Taylor family business. But I've known since I was 5 years old what I was going to do. I tried the college thing, and I'm like, nah, I want to go to work. B.R.P.D is great in that we have so many different divisions. If you move from uniform patrol to homicide or to street crimes or to K-9, it's almost like starting your career over at something fresh.
Right.
Well, we always enjoy having B.R.P.D on with us, and it gives us a little window into what's happening everywhere, because B.R.P.D, whether we like it or not, has become a big police department in a big city.
Yes, sir.
And it has all the big benefits and all the big problems that go with that as well. But I know that you all are trying to start an academy now, recruiting officers. I hope you get some good people to pick from.
Me too.
Lieutenant Bryan Taylor is the assistant commander of the Uniform Patrol Division, the biggest division in B.R.P.D. He has been our guest this morning, and I'm sure we're going to have him back on the show as we continue on. A little programming note. We're coming up to the top of the hour here, where we take our break and start hour number 2. We're going to get you caught up on the news and the tropical storm Beta. I'm not used to that. I'm not used to doing alphabet. Right. It doesn't want to come out. But after that, former Deputy Chief Jonny Dunnam, who is now the Executive Director of Greater Baton Rouge Crime Stoppers, will be joining us and tell us who they're looking for and how you can help. We'll give you the phone number, and you may end up picking up a cash reward. We'll go through it chapter and verse with you. In the meantime, if anything strikes your fancy as we have these expert guests on, you can always call our phone number, because the show is live in all the metro areas. If you are watching this is not a recording. It is live. 225-831-1029, and you will be able to go live with us or with your guests, with our guests, as we continue. So next hour is coming up. Thanks to you all for being with us this hour. There will be more on the way, including a look at what Beta is doing right after the top of the hour. On Exiles TV, Karen Profita in for Kevin Gallagher. I'm Bill Profita. Stick around.
Bellows Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bellows Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Cantea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Cantea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita. He's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Of Exiles TV coming your way all across South Louisiana. Karen Profita is in for Kevin Gallagher, who's taking a couple days. R&R.
Yeah, initiated. I made it through the first hour.
And quite well, I might add.
Very interesting stuff. But yeah, and what a time for being off when we've got beta sitting on our entire region even. It's not even like, okay, you know, our usual, you have your bad day of it, and then it's going to leave you alone.
Oh, good God. I'm looking at the latest update. Of course, it made landfall in Texas. You knew about that, right? It just got degraded to a tropical depression, which is good news, which means its wind speed is down. But according to the weather folks, we are going to have not just hours, but days of rainfall and high surf along the Texas-Louisiana coast. Right now, the rain field in the Houston area, all the way down to Galveston, and then starting to get in to the Lake Charles area, is just nasty. So far, Beta has put about 8 inches of rain into that area. And we all know Houston cannot handle, I mean, it's all concrete.
Yeah.
The interstates become giant, Olympic pools.
But they've got a couple areas, in fact, near the hospitals is one of the areas that they just really can collect that water. So interesting, as we were talking about police work, and we've got monitors here in the studio, and I saw something come up. Chicago, I think it was March 18th till the end of April, they gave 35,000 parking tickets. They had decided to crack down. And a lot of people that live in those high rises and all, I'm sure parking was at a premium. And I bet they're not thinking pleasant thoughts.
35,000 parking tickets.
That's, yeah.
Oh, there are going to be some people who are going to be throwing all kinds of fits about that.
Well, and again, I wonder how they're putting those through their process. Can you show up at court and contest it, or how do, I guess a parking ticket, probably not. It's
Well, I
probably
mean,
just-
I was very, very little when my family lived inside the city of Chicago, and then we moved out to the burbs. And I remember if we were at somebody's home, I would remember about every couple, 3 hours, somebody would say, "Oh, I got to go move my car. I'll be right back." Because they had a lot of these. It was crazy. The sign would say 2-hour parking or 3-hour parking. And then in the wintertime, it was called snow route parking.
Oh, yeah.
Where you could only park on one side of the street so that the snowplows could come through. And of course, you don't want to park there anyway, because if you were parked, they'd bury your car. And it would vary sides of the street by week of the month. It was nuts.
In Dublin, they put the big yellow clamp on your car if you're parked.
Yeah, the boot.
Yeah, but they call it a clamp.
Oh, do they?
Yes, and so I was in a meeting in Dublin at a radio station, and we're all in the conference room. It's a glass conference room. You could see people out at their desks, and all of a sudden somebody comes over the intercom and goes, "Clampers!" And everyone ran out of the building. I mean, the floor is shaking, and I'm like, what is going on? And it meant the cops were coming to write tickets and put clamps on the cars. So everybody's car was parked illegally, and they all had to go run and move
They
them.
did it right then? They didn't write you a ticket
Oh, no,
first?
they just got you. They had a great picture of their station vehicle with the big yellow clamp on it. So, yeah, it happens to everybody there sooner or later.
Wow.
And, yeah, they must have a lot of them. But they love doing that. But yeah, it was so funny. I mean, I'm like, is the building on fire? What's going on? This evacuation happened. Everybody running, full speed.
My goodness. We are, I think they've done this in parts of New Orleans. I don't know if they're doing this in Lafayette, but we are switching to these electronic parking meters
Yeah.
in downtown. So you don't, a parking ticket.
Those are nice.
Parking ticket used to be $3. Parking ticket is now $47.50.
I love in New Orleans that you can pay for it on your phone.
Yeah.
And then you get an alert when it's about to expire, and you just on your phone, you can be in a meeting and just enter more time. That's really convenient.
Yeah.
So it's a lot better.
And it makes you more likely to not risk that big old ticket.
So I was just looking at a national or international story, and it's made me think how many great movies are going to come out of all the odd things that have happened this year.
You think?
I mean, I can't wait to see the COVID movies. That's going to be a whole genre unto itself. But I was looking at the Russian dissenter who was poisoned and has now recovered, and he is demanding that they return his clothes that he had. Russian authorities have the clothes when I guess he collapsed, and they took him to the hospital because he said there's evidence with that. And I'm like, these things.
Well, nothing like telegraphing your punch. You think that evidence is going to still be there when they give you back your clothes?
Well, you think they kept it because they know that already? I don't think he's letting them know anything they don't know. But anyway, so many weird stories like this, that are right out of novels. And you're going, okay, this is going to be really interesting stuff. You know?
It could be, but I think, you know what? I think most of us, for a while at the very least, are going to want to completely ignore 2020.
It's show us ponies and puppies and
yeah, show me some unicorns.
Clouds. Yeah, I know. But it has been just interesting, and the intrigues that seem to be going on all over. It's just at all kinds of levels.
Now, the one thing I miss is the political debates in a presidential election year, because those are always great theater. Everybody's shooting from the hip, and we didn't get any of that in the primary season. It was so docile.
I mean, everybody's got strong opinions, but I've never felt like there was less, information. Maybe we feel like we know both the candidates so well. It's like, whatever.
Or
we all
maybe
have our
everybody's
opinion
going,
and go in with that.
No, I can't hear you.
I wonder how many people are just not watching the news anymore. I'm hearing that over and over.
Lots.
And I know I have been home too much, and I'm getting bitter, and I've started to yell at the TV. Please don't yell at us, okay? Because, I mean, it's just,
Why do
got
you think
frustration.
we do the replay of this show at 10 p.m.? This show replays at 10 p.m. When you see us live here at 10 a.m., there's a replay at 10 p.m. at night because so many people are not watching or do not wish to watch local news anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's, well, and some of that, as you pointed out, has been brought upon themselves with, and the national level too, with let's just say it, Gayle King participating in the stories on CBS this morning.
I just, yeah. You know, they're not supposed to give their opinion. I don't know. We've been around the news business longer than some people, and so maybe it's just. And she's certainly been around a long time. I don't know. That's journalistic standards. You don't let your opinion be known, and I just see that violated so often. The way she either responds to a story she's seen, and again, as we're talking with Lieutenant Bryan just a moment ago, and I see these, she does it, she jumps to a conclusion. Well, I don't know the whole story yet, but you know, this and this was wrong. It's like, yeah, wait till you know the story, and then I'm all with you. If this was really something bad that happened, then let's go ahead, let's call it out, and let's stop it. But you know the story first.
Well, and there's a lot of that going around that. I think what happens is it just like when you have a bad elected official or a bad cop. When you have a bad news person that involves themselves in the story and people saying they're not being fair, they're not reporting just the facts, they're giving their opinion, it hurts everybody. And people can turn the channel. Mm-hmm. They can do it pretty easily.
You wonder why some of these people even want to go on these shows.
Oh.
If it's going to be attack mode or, it's a scary time. I mean, even as we're doing interviews, I've always tried to not put a guest in an uncomfortable position where it's going to lead them to talk about something that might be awkward for them or inappropriate for them to really discuss. I don't know. Just some basic rules of the biz.
A brief break, back with more on Exiles TV. Thanks for being with us. Stick around.
Guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Exiles TV. Glad you were with us this morning. I'm Bill Profita, Karen Profita filling in for Kevin Gallagher, taking a couple days off and relaxing a little bit. Coming up on the program in just a little bit, former Deputy Police Chief of B.R.P.D, Jonny Dunnam, now the Executive Director of Crime Stoppers, will be joining us. Talk about, and this is a regional type of program where we kind of ask you to help us hunt down the bad guys and bad gals, and we reward you for your efforts. So more to come on that.
Yeah, always interesting. That's such a great program. It was one of those that when it started, we all went, of course.
Yeah, what a great idea.
That makes sense, yeah.
Before we do that, though, since we don't have you on the media every week as we used to, tell everybody about the Louisiana Seafood Incubator.
Yeah, so one of the things I'm working on, obviously this is such a difficult time for a lot of people financially and looking for economic development opportunities. On top of that, our seafood industry has really been hit hard. Not only do we have all the environmental concerns on our coastline, and we've got restaurants that are not open, and so they're not selling as much seafood there. We've had hurricanes. I mean, they have been really, really hit. So it's important that we find other ways to keep that viable. Louisiana is the second largest seafood producer in the nation, behind only Alaska. So this is a great natural resource we've got. So there is a program we're modeling after what they did in Iceland, and Iceland was catching only 40% of what they used to. Because of overfishing in their waters, yet they have more than doubled revenue in Norway, or in Iceland rather, because they have made a commitment to use 100% of the fish. And it turns out that a lot of the things that we're throwing away right now, because again, you know, we're good South Louisiana, it's like, ooh, let me eat that filet. But you know what? That fish head, the liver, the, you know, roe, being able to use that as a caviar. There's a lot of things in there that have other value in everything from you can take the skin and make a leather from that. And so fashion industry uses it to cosmetics to pharmaceuticals. And quite frankly, those are things that have greater value than the human and fish feed or other animal feed that we're using it for right now. So
what you're trying to do is?
So trying to make it so we've got an incubator. So this is, here's the raw ingredients that are available to you. And if you have a business concept, I mean, it's amazing. In Iceland, I've seen there's 2 young women in their early 20s, fresh out of college, and now they've got their own beauty cream line using this. There was someone who did a lemonade with collagen in it. So again, I'm trying to work with universities across South Louisiana and find ways we can support entrepreneurs who want to get these kind of things started and really start bringing in these higher revenue opportunities.
Now, in places that they have done this, has it been a big economic development business?
Yeah, like I said, doubled revenues in Iceland from this. There's a couple that have opened in the U.S. This is still very new. I think it's only about 5 years that really Iceland has cranked theirs up all the way. But it's the opportunity is amazing. Even things like $62 million just from freeze-drying fish heads and selling those to third world countries where they can use it for soups. There's millions of meals that we could make just from the protein we're throwing away. And there's hungry people all over the world.
What about other scientific things? What about pharmaceuticals and
Yes.
and fertilizers and
So
body fillers and things like that.
So one of my favorite products that's come out of Iceland, one they're very proud of, is fish skin has a collagen in it, which is good for helping your skin heal. And they have actually made a Band-Aid or bandage that is from fish skin with the collagen in it. So it not only protects you and works well on our skin, but it has the collagen that helps you to heal quicker. And then there's things, the collagen can be put into all kinds of things. They're even using some fish skin in skin grafts for burn victims.
So let me see if I can do this in a simplified way. So in Iceland currently, there is a scientist or a group of scientists, and they go to somebody who fillets fish or processes fish and said, can we buy what you're throwing away? And they turn it into this?
It's not a group of scientists, it's a group of entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And so it brings them together. If the guy who started this really researched how the Silicon Valley took off the way it did. And it's about communication. When we communicate, when we share ideas, when we do what I'm doing right now and talk about it, you start bringing more people to the table. The seafood industry has been terrible about communication. And so the guys who are building the boats don't necessarily spend a lot of time talking to the guys who are doing this piece who talk to these guys. So it's about starting to bring them together and saying, I mean, even beyond the product, saying, could we have a better boat? Could we have better nets? We are the second largest producer. We should be the ones who are really developing all that. And then looking at what are we throwing away? What can you do with that byproduct? What is a great sustainable answer?
And there's money to be made.
Oh my gosh, definitely. Definitely.
This isn't Little Sisters of the Poor helping people.
No.
There's money to be made.
And that was what I loved is when I first heard the presentation on this, he would hold up something and say, you know, this is a little vial of cod liver oil or whatever. He said, we used to throw it away. This is worth $200. You know, he would hold up a piece of fish leather. This is worth $600. I mean, it was just the value on these things. So a fish whose overall value was maybe $8 is now more like $100. So, and we've got things like our alligator industry is really struggling right now. And alligator is very rich in collagen and some other things. And there's already patents sitting there on how to extract it. We just need the entrepreneurs who want to go make it happen.
So this is something you're devoting a lot of time to. When do you think it's going to happen?
Oh, I'm hoping before the end of the year we're actually able to start putting it out there and start bringing people to the table. Really thrilled universities across South Louisiana have been very interested in this and are working with me. And everybody, I keep hearing the same thing over and over, your timing couldn't be better. So hopefully that's true, and hopefully that'll be true for Louisiana and give us another great source of revenue.
All right, more to come on Exiles TV. Jonny Dunnam with Crime Stoppers joins us next.
Let's stop some crime.
Me when I taste the feeling, bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
TV, back with you again for another exciting segment. Well, we'll see. We'll see how exciting it is. I'm Bill.
Pressure.
Yeah, I'm Bill Profita. Karen is in for Kevin Gallagher, and with us is former Deputy Chief of B.R.P.D. Jonny Dunnam, who is now the Executive Director of Crime Stoppers of Greater Baton Rouge. Right?
That's right.
That's
Greater
the real
Baton Rouge.
name.
It's an 8-parish area, so we're not just focused on Baton Rouge, although the majority of our crimes and calls that we get do stem from B.R.P.D. in the outlying areas. So, but yeah, we cover Ascension, Livingston, Baton Rouge, East Baton Rouge, West Baton Rouge, Point Capee, East and West Feliciana, and Iberville.
Has COVID had an effect on the number of calls you get? It seems like people have a little more time on their hands.
Yeah, no, it hasn't. The calls haven't decreased, obviously, and our payouts haven't decreased. Obviously, funding has decreased a little bit. We had to cancel our law enforcement awards luncheon this year, our golf tournament this year because of COVID. So, yeah, I mean, Crime Stoppers is a 501c3. It's a nonprofit, so we raise the majority of our funding through the golf tournament and through the luncheon. So, yeah, I mean, it's had its effect, but as far as the number of calls and the payouts, no, it has not.
Is Crime Stoppers national, or is...
Yeah, it's an international. They have Crime Stoppers all across the world. Strangely enough, B.R.P., Baton Rouge Crime Stoppers, is probably one of the more effective Crime Stoppers in the entire country, if not the world. The numbers of cases that we help to solve and clear through Baton Rouge Crime Stoppers makes it one of the most successful. It really has. We've probably, I know we've cleared numerous homicides. I think we're well over 14,000 felony arrests that we've been involved in, and recovered well over $40 million in stolen property and illegal narcotics. So, since its inception.
Do you think the 344 stop is in so many people's brains that there may be tips coming in if there's an especially, I guess, dramatic crime before we even hear about it, that people are calling?
Yeah,
you
we
saying,
receive tips numerous ways. You can go to a web tip at crimestoppersbr.com. submit a web tip. We have a P3 app. P3 is the company that developed the app for all the Crime Stoppers around the country. So it's an anonymous app. You can log in, download the app, pick the Crime Stoppers in your region, and obviously it's Baton Rouge Crime Stoppers here. And you can submit video. We've had people submit video evidence to us. We've had people submit tips through the app. And of course, the old cell phone or landline number, 344-STOP. So, we receive tips so many different ways. And the public, thank goodness, it's been around. Crime Stoppers has been around for 38 years now. And so people have it in their minds that if they see a crime, they want to report it anonymously, they can call Crime Stoppers or submit that tip, and we get numerous calls that way. And a lot of times it's immediately. I mean, following the crime, the detectives haven't even left the scene, and we're getting tips on the crime. So it's a great service.
When somebody calls, do they talk to someone, or is it leaving a message?
No, they talk to somebody. There was always, even Brandy Alford is one of the assistant coordinators in there. She's a crime analyst for Crime Stoppers, and she's there answering the phones right now. When she gets off of work, it goes to a tip line service, and that tip line service takes the information. We've even had them call from the tip line service and dispatch units immediately to wanted fugitives and things like that. So there's always somebody there to answer the phones. You get to speak to somebody.
The way you protect anonymity is you don't have any caller ID.
Nope, there's no caller ID. There's no track and trace on the web tip or the app. So we don't know who's calling. People call in and a lot of times they want to know how it works. You submit the tip, we give them a code number. They take that code number and they'll call back and check on their tip. And when there's an arrest made, or in the case of a homicide, upon indictment, we schedule that person at a local area bank to go by and pick up their cash.
And they don't even have to go in. They go through the drive-through.
They go through the drive-through.
And they give the code number.
That's right. And they just give the code number. We'll give them a certain word of the day, a password. They write down their code number, the password on the sheet. They shoot it to the teller. And they don't even have to pick up the money themselves. If they don't, they're worried about anonymity, they don't want to pick it up, they can send somebody else. I don't necessarily suggest that, because you better trust the person that's going to get that cash money for you, because then
they have a whole new crime they can give you a tip.
That's right. They may take some of the cash that they're going to receive. So,
how did Crime Stoppers get started?
It got started back when Pat Banana was the chief. Sid was a homicide detective, Sid Newman at B.R.P.D. And Pat Banana asked this young homicide detective to go take a look at this new tip service that's was sweeping around the country. And the anonymity and the fact that there's an added benefit of a cash reward. Sid went and investigated it, liked the idea, brought it back to B.R.P.D., and that's how it started back in the 80s.
To your knowledge, has anyone other than outing themselves, has anybody ever had their cover blown by using Baton Rouge Crime Stoppers?
No, nobody's had their cover blown by, it's been upheld in the courts numerous times where people or defense attorneys have challenged Crime Stoppers. I mean, we can only give them the information if we're required to the courts, but we don't have their names. We don't know who submitted the tip.
Mm-hmm.
So do you ever have kids calling in?
Yeah, we have a Crime Stoppers program in the local area schools, and it mainly tackles bullying and people bringing guns to school and things like that. So yeah, kids can call in. It's Campus Crime Stoppers, and they can submit a text tip or kids nowadays like to go through the app. So we do receive tips from kids and stuff, and it's gotten guns out of schools and helped stop violence in the schools before it happens.
How does somebody make it to the Crime Stoppers wanted list? I mean, obviously, if somebody guns down 4 people and they're in the wind, that's going to go there. But how does somebody make it? Let's say there's a burglary, a residential burglary, and they take a whole bunch of high-end TVs and computers. When does that get elevated to the level where they make it to Crime Stoppers?
The detectives, the Crime Stoppers office is in the violent crime unit at the state police. So we're right in the middle of all these different agencies, from the state police, sheriff's office, B.R.P.D., right in the middle of that. So whenever a crime occurs, the detectives
it's become a habit over the last 38 years. The detectives, when they get a warrant, if they're not able to immediately arrest that person, the first thing they do is they submit that warrant to Crime Stoppers, and we immediately put them on our website. And as long as it's a felony crime, we'll put them on. Doesn't matter, whether the amount of property stolen or anything like that. If it's a felony warrant, we're going to put them on the website, put them on our Facebook page, and publicize to try to get the word out so that people will call. So it's really a seamless process. They go to Brandy, they give Brandy the warrant. There's a few checks and balances to make sure that the warrant is active, that the person that they're looking for is actually the person, and that the detectives and their supervisors sign off on it. But we will immediately put that warrant out there. Obviously, homicides, shootings, things like that are violent crimes. We want to get the word out as fast as we can on those things.
Are there other Crime Stoppers then around the state?
Yeah, there's a Central Louisiana Crime Stoppers. Lafayette has a Crime Stoppers program. New Orleans area, Darlene Costanza is the executive director in New Orleans area, and they cover New Orleans Parish, St. Tammany, some of those other parishes. So usually incorporate several parishes in a particular area.
Mm-hmm. The thing that I think makes this so effective is you never hear anybody say, "Oh, I had a friend that knew some things, and he called Crime Stoppers, and they caught the guy, and he didn't get his reward." You never hear anybody say that.
No, you don't. We pay out a lot of awards. We probably pay out close to $100,000 in rewards a year. So it's very productive.
Well, and the kind of people that you're looking for, I think the next time we have you on, what we'd like to do is have you send us the pictures, and we'll put them into our system, and we'll talk about it, because I'm amazed at the huge number of financial crimes that you have to chase.
Yeah, we have a financial crimes division at B.R.P.D. Sheriff's Office has the same. So, financial crimes, those are something that we definitely, if it's a felony, we're going to look into it.
Well, and a lot of it is trying to locate them, because
they steal a lot of money and they get out of town.
Eileen Smith, who had been the trusted bookkeeper at ABC Welding for 48 years, left Tuesday night with $246,000, and we don't know where she is.
Yeah. Well, we have connections all across the world, so we have Crime Stoppers organizations that we can pick up the phone and call, and they can publicize if we have information that, hey, that person may be out of the country or in the country somewhere. We can contact them.
Have you got one there we can talk about?
Oh, yeah, we've got a couple here that we can talk about.
Let's do one, then we'll take a break and do a couple more.
The first one is Davon Bentley. With COVID and all, Baton Rouge has seen an increase in domestic violence related cases. And Davon Bentley is a black male. Date of birth is 10/21 of 95, and he's wanted for home invasion, illegal use of a weapon or dangerous instrumentality, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and simple criminal damage to property. And what Davon did is he showed up at his ex-girlfriend's apartment in the 13,000 block of Florida Boulevard, kicked in or pushed in the door of the apartment, fired a shot inside the apartment, also fired a shot at a car in the parking lot before he left and the police got there. So we want to definitely, anybody that's watching can go on Crime Stoppers BR. They can see a photo of Davion. It's Davion Bentley. They can see his photo, and they can also go on our Facebook page at Crime Stoppers, Baton Rouge Crime Stoppers Facebook page, and see a photo of him.
And this is a bad dude.
Yeah, I mean, these are violent offenders. This is a domestic violence case, and who knows what he could do next. I mean, he could harm her children. Our 4 kids were there at the time the incident happened, so we want to make sure that this person's off the streets.
Right. And is it usually someone who knows the person?
In a lot of cases, the vast majority of homicide or shooting, violent crime cases, they do have some connection. Yeah.
Yep.
We will take a short break here. We will return, Karen and I, with former B.R.P.D. chief, current executive director of Crime Stoppers, Jonny Dunnam. Stick around on Exiles TV.
Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances. Your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show is back. Along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together. South Louisiana's talk team. And it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
TV as we continue our discussion with Jonny Dunnam, Crime Stoppers of Baton Rouge. We're getting into the kind of cases that they have, so we're going to tell you a little bit about these people. Again, all over the Baton Rouge area, the number is 344-STOP, or you can go to crimestoppersbr.com, completely anonymous. There's no caller ID, no tracing. You don't ever have to give your name, and you could get a cash reward. So what else you got there?
Well, we've got a homicide, actually. Dominic Johnson is wanted. He's a black male, born in 1998. He's wanted for the homicide of Logan Lacombe. He is one of our fugitives of the week. We have a good success rate on the fugitive of the week. About 99% of our fugitives that we feature, and we feature on the news and WAFB and also in the Advocate. So if people can go to either one of those locations and see who the fugitive of the week is. But Dominic Johnson committed a murder. He shot Logan Lacombe in the parking lot in the 9700 block of Jefferson Highway. So he's a violent guy, and we definitely want to see him off the streets.
What I see with some of these, by the way, if you know anything, give us the guy's name again.
It's Dominic Johnson.
Dominic Johnson. If you know anything about this, and maybe if you just think you know something, it's worth the phone call. They'll sort through it for you. I mean, you don't have to prosecute this yourself. Just make the call, 344-STOP. How often are you getting cases like this where it's somebody that's already got 1 or 2 felonies, and now they're moving into the big leagues or escalating.
Yeah, I mean, well, I worked in burglary for years as a burglary detective, and we would catch a burglar. Statistics show that usually they had committed 30 to 40 burglaries before you caught them.
Wow.
So, in cases like this, they probably committed other shootings before they commit the act of actually killing somebody. And so you want to catch that, especially with the domestic violence case that we talked about earlier. You want to catch that before that person commits that extremely violent offense.
Well, in East Baton Rouge Parish, our domestic violence homicide numbers are 3 times what they were last year at this time.
Yes, they are.
It is a powder keg for those that already have problems at home.
Yeah, I was curious about trends, especially with COVID, but just in general too. What kind of things, burglaries and...
Yeah, overall violent crime itself, I think it has gone up a little bit. Homicides have definitely gone up a lot in Baton Rouge during this past year, and with everything there's a disorganization theory. We kind of had a spike in crime after the floods and all. In 2017, actually had probably the most homicides we'd had in East Baton Rouge Parish during that year in 2017. So, and I know listening to Hiller speak about it and the district attorney here talk about it, that there was a theory that when you have natural disasters and other things that cause disorganization in communities, you sometimes see an increase in crime. And I think that's what you're seeing here now. I think you're seeing that increase because of that, because of COVID and all the things that have gone on in the past year. People are acting out, and unfortunately, you've seen a rise in crime. Hopefully, they won't break 2017's record this year. Things will start to tail off, and we can catch some of these individuals and get them off the streets.
Well, the chief, the sheriff, when it's in his jurisdiction, the DA. People like Crime Stoppers, we have been reduced to pleading with the community, explaining that these crimes don't get solved without their help.
That's
and
right.
That this idea of snitches get stitches is dangerous to everybody in that community.
Exactly right. It hurts the people in the communities that are disadvantaged, that those individuals that live in those communities. The vast majority of people that live in those communities are good, hardworking people that don't want to see the crime in their communities, and those are the individuals that call us a lot of times. They want to get the bad apples out of their community, and you can't paint an entire community with a broad brush and say that everybody in 70805 is bad, because that's not the case. The vast majority are not committing crimes in that area. It's the 2 or 3 houses in the neighborhood out of 200 or 300 that are selling drugs, and you're having shootings and different incidents in those areas. And that's why Crime Stoppers is there, for those community members to contact Crime Stoppers. If they see suspicious activity in the neighborhood at a house, call us. We have connections with the narcotics office. Those narcotics detectives will get on that, and they'll clean that up.
By the time somebody hits your list, do they basically have enough to prosecute that individual? Because again, I can also imagine the frustration. You would really like witnesses or people who could come forward with that, but that's...
Yeah, a lot of times the information, even if it's information about a gun that they've seen somebody with, just being able to catch that person with that gun helps build that case, because we have NIBIN and different things that can track and trace that gun. If it's used, it may be used in several crimes, and the fact that they can give us information just on a gun doesn't even have to be a specific person, but that specific person having a gun, it could have potentially been used all across the city in numerous shootings. So if an officer, we can get that information to a detective. We have a gun crime information unit now in the city parish that can go out and try to recover that gun, and then they can link that gun to numerous shootings. So it's not necessarily just information on a person, but it's information that could help build that case to make it a stronger case for Hill or Moore to prosecute.
Mm-hmm. Is there one particular crime type that is harder for everybody to get a handle on you, the U.S. Marshals, the detectives working the case. Is there one particular type that's really, really hard?
Homicides are probably the most difficult. A lot of times homicides are committed. You don't have advance notice in some cases. Some cases you do. But homicides are difficult just because you can put officers out on the street and increase the number of officers and put them in certain areas where you think crime is going to happen, where the data is driving the officer's allocation, but you could still not be in the right place at the right time. So homicide is a difficult case. I worked in burglary for years, and I always said burglaries were difficult. You might solve 20% of your burglary cases in burglary because there was never a witness usually in a burglary case, because the burglar always makes sure that the individuals have either left the house or left the business. There's nobody there. I always used to pick on the homicide guys and said, look, y'all got it easy. Y'all at least have witnesses in some cases.
Yeah,
we don't even have witnesses in burglary cases. Right. And our homicide detectives really have a good clearance rate. They're above the national average. They're over 60% usually year to year. So they're good detectives, but I always like to pick on them when I worked in burglary.
Well, what I think is very interesting is that we as a community say we're very, very concerned about crime. And the people in these two hard-hit areas, 70802 and 70805, there are a lot of people there that are saying, please help us.
That's right.
But we just seem to lack getting to that next step where everybody is really on board with seeing something and saying something and cooperating.
Yeah, you have to cooperate. If you want to clean up your area, you have to cooperate. You have to call in, and Crime Stoppers is the way to do it. You can stay anonymous. You can get the added benefit of a cash reward. We have people who call in that don't even ever come and claim their cash reward. They just do it out of the goodness of their hearts to know that they're making a difference in their neighborhoods.
Well, it is a successful program, and quite frankly, I'm always fascinated by it, by the kind of things that you bring in, and and next time we're going to have the pictures in advance and all.
I'll bring the pictures.
Because some of these people, they look like your grandma, and she shot somebody in a Walmart parking lot. It's not.
You
like
had a really tough grandmother.
I did have a tough grandma. Yeah, I really did. But it's always good to have you, and it's good to have Crime Stoppers on. Yes. Again, 344-STOP in the Baton Rouge area, crimestoppersbr.com. And how do they get the app if they want to keep the app?
Just look for P3. It's
P3.
P3 app in the App Store. They can download it, or Google Play, and they can download it on their phones and just look. When you scroll through it, I ask you which Crime Stoppers organization to pick, and you pick Baton Rouge Crime Stoppers.
Can you hide it on the phone in case you're one of your co-conspirators says, if you turn me in, let me see your phone.
Yeah, just keep your phone locked. I know with Android phones you can hide certain apps, so there's probably a way you can.
I'm worried that you thought about that, Bill.
Yeah, Bill would think about that.
I'll call you later.
You forget, I'm Italian from Chicago.
No, I don't forget.
I knew a bunch of guys that would always talk like this on the street because the FBI had people
is watching. They're reading lips.
Reading lips, exactly. Johnny, always good to have you.
Good to be here.
We need to take a break. We'll come back to wrap up the show. This is Exiles TV. So glad to have you with us.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Fruget Jr., and I am a general dentist at Fruget Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Bud Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bud Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
Exiles TV. Karen Profita in with me in place of Kevin, who is taking a couple of days off. He's not ill or anything, so he's just living the life. All right, we don't have much time left, but I think this deserves mentioning. Dixie Beer wants all of us in the public to help them select a new name for their beer. Dixie, quote, has embarked upon a renaming process to embrace a more inclusive, culturally aware, and socially conscious future. The iconic brewery is enlisting the public's health in its remaining efforts. So you have 3 days. It ends on the 25th, this Friday, to suggest a new name for Dixie Beer.
I think I've heard unkind names sometimes.
I'm thinking that
people are so beer loyal that it's like if another brand gets called impolite things, I'll just put it that way.
I wonder if anybody has submitted Cave. I might submit Cave Beer, like they cave to this ridiculous cancel culture.
But I think there's some validity to concerns, but they can come up with something better. Come on.
Can they come up with a beer that's better?
Well, that's the real question, isn't it?
Yeah.
They can hide behind this and say that's what people didn't like was the name, when I think it might have been the beer.
Why would you? Why? How can you rename Dixie? The name has been there forever.
Well, but I think this is fun. I think this is a smart way to do it. Get the public involved, get some ownership on it, get creativity going. I might submit something.
Well, here's how you do it. If you're interested, go to dixiebeer.com /name. dixiebeer.com /name, and you can suggest a new name for Dixie Beer. And there's no cash prize or anything, but I guess you get bragging rights if you're the one who came up with the name they select.
No keg for life kind of thing.
No, it's Crime Stoppers. Actually, if you think about how Dixie tastes, you ought to get a reward from Crime Stoppers. Thanks to everybody for being with us today. We will be back on Thursday, a replay tonight at 10. Thanks to Karen for sitting in with us as well.
Pleasure.
Y'all be safe out there. It's going to be a little bit rainy. Stay well, and we will see you again on Thursday.